Thank you so much.
I can't kill myself.
Kill the music.
All right, basket mouth.
Sir.
Welcome to the Blackbox
Yeah, thanks, man.
on Bounce Radio.
Nice spot, man. You guys killed this one, man. This
We're trying. Are you feeling the candle?
Yeah, I love it. I love the smell. Making me comfortable before I get slaughtered.
You
Is
will
that
not
how
be
you-
slaughtered in Jesus' name.
Amen.
How's it been?
Man, it's been good. We thank God, man.
Yeah.
Because we can't, but thank the Lord.
Yes. Congratulations on your album. And I want to start with that because it's probably, if it's not the best, it's definitely the top 3
Wow.
albums that dropped last year. And
Thank you.
I don't think it's just me saying that because I've seen that opinion a lot
Yeah.
on social media. Why was that important for you to do?
The music?
Yeah, the album.
Yeah, so the thing is, I'm a failed rapper. I failed as a rapper. But I didn't fail because it was a case whereby we're on stage, I was funny, but all my friends were funny, so I didn't know it was a gift. I didn't know we're all gifted. So I thought that it's a normal thing. So I was pushing the rap, the rap life, I was trying to make music. But what I was doing then was blending Afrobeat, like Fela's vibe, and blending it with hip-hop music.
Okay.
But it was a bit too ahead of my time, so people didn't get it.
You didn't catch on to
So
it.
yeah, so we struggled. So I would say we failed at trying to do something new. So I just leaned towards comedy because it was just the most comfortable, and it happened. We went to perform. Me and my brother Godwin went to perform in Ekema campus, a show called 300 Men Groove. We were done performing. The MC was doing a terrible job, and I was telling the guy Dotun, I was telling my guy Dotun that I can do better than this guy. I'm like, I know, but I don't think the promoter is going to allow you to perform. So I begged the promoter, he allowed me, and I did it, and I enjoyed it, and the crowd felt it, and I had so much fun. So I was like, Bright, maybe you just do this one. No. That was when I was like, just
This
but then,
rap will not work.
this one is more comfortable. And then they paid me, I was like, So then music stayed on one side,
All this while.
all the while. I tried, we did something with Wizkid, did something with LD The Don, even with Dari Atalade, with Face. All of them I did not release, because I was scared until the opportunity presented itself. I was like,
How did it present itself? Was it a lockdown? What happened?
it wasn't the lockdown. It was, okay, I decided to create a sitcom, an online sitcom, Papa Benji, dying to create that show. So I was like, okay, Bryce, you have to create this show. But then I needed to create music, because the beer parlor will have music.
Okay.
We need music to, to blend in with the whole thing. And I didn't want to start asking people for their songs. So I was like, Bryce, you need to create your own songs. And I was like, okay, maybe this is the opportunity for you to just used to do this thing that you've always wanted to do. And that's why if you listen to the album, it's a blend of high life and hip hop. You understand? But most people, it's a hip hop album, but people don't if you listen closely to it, there's a blend of hip hop everywhere. But we toned it down because, we needed something that could sell. So that's how it started. And, I said we had 3 weeks to go with the album, to create the album, and we pulled it off. 3 weeks, then with 1 more week to mix it. TY made magic, man.
Really?
Yeah, everything was done in a month. Yeah, because it wasn't like it was last minute thing, but like I had met Dr. Seth.
Yeah.
I met Dr. Seth online, and I tested him. I was sending him stuff like, can you make this? He'll make it. Can you make this? Can you make this and this? I wanted to see how good it was when it comes to blending different genre of music and make it one. And he did it so seamlessly. So I was like, this is my guy. So a few months later, I called him and said, okay, guy, it's time. We need to make an album, but we have 3 weeks to pull it off. And we started making the songs, made the first beat. The first beat that we made was Udo.
Yeah.
And that was the last song that we recorded. Very difficult song to record because it was hard to get the right people on it. But yeah, man, it was yeah. The pandemic wasn't the reason why, but pandemic made it
Made the timing perfect.
made the timing perfect, you know.
Yeah.
So I was locked in. Although I'd already decided, I made up my mind not to travel like the whole of 2020 before the pandemic hit.
So it was perfect
it
timing.
was just perfect timing. So yeah,
Were you disappointed or surprised or impressed at the reception
I was
for the album?
I was impressed. I was
Okay.
surprised. I was surprised because there was a time when I looked at the charts, and I saw that 8 tracks from the album was top 10. That was a surprise. I was excited because finally, like, what I've been trying to create is out and people actually love it. And there's nothing that an artist loves, I can love the most, you understand, other than his work being appreciated, you know, being understood. And for, you know, they understood the music, and I was so excited about it. I won't lie to you, guy. It was like, man, I was so happy.
I think I was a little disappointed because I think it should have gotten better attention than it did. It got enough attention.
I try to avoid that part.
We'll come back to that.
But we can talk about it because
Yeah.
we actually discussed it today.
Yeah.
And the reason why what happened was we had 3 weeks to create the album. I'm not a musician. I didn't take enough time to really study how it's done. So I was introduced, to certain people, and it was quick. As at the point that we made certain decisions, at that point we had no other choice.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And I believe that everything happened for a reason. And the noise wasn't loud enough. I know. I was disappointed about that one. Yes, but it grew organically.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that made me happy. The fact that we dropped it. A lot of people thought it was going to be a comedy. A lot of people, it was a discovery point for me.
Yeah.
Because most people didn't know that I was coming out with something
Like even I didn't know what to expect. I was like, oh, okay.
I know. You see that thing?
Yeah.
That was the reason why a lot of people didn't listen to
Yeah.
it. They were like, it's going to be one of those, they're
Yep.
cracking jokes.
And then I listened and I was completely shook.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Right.
we'll come back to that. Let's rewind all
Yeah.
the way to the beginning, and talk about, you were born in
1978.
in
Where?
which city?
Oh, Lagos.
We're in Lagos.
Apapa.
Olodi Apapa.
No. The hospital, Apapa Health Center. I remember the hospital because my dad told me you were born here. Apapa Health Center, but we were living in Ajegunle at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, Lafia Street.
Oh,
Then we
okay.
moved to Uzo Street. Then we moved to Offshore Drive. Then we moved to Kilgore. my life, man.
How long were you in Ajegunle? AJ has so many stars in
Yes,
this industry.
We do. They
It's
gave back,
interesting.
that's where you get to. The grind is there, man. You discover your talent by hunger.
Yeah.
You know.
How long were you there for?
I can't remember. I know. Maybe 9 till I was 9. Then we moved to Olodi Apapa, which is we moved earlier, but we stayed in Olodi Apapa for a minute.
Okay.
Then we now moved to Kirikiri Town, which is still at Jegunle anyway.
Well, kind of, yeah.
Kind of in a way. Yeah, it's still the same local government in a way, But you just let's say disown us just now. You just say why did you do that? Like
I was actually trying to save you because Kirikiri Town is not necessarily Ajegunle.
but it's the same environment.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's
Yeah,
what
we know what I mean now.
Not gonna put me for trouble.
Don't do that. Yeah, so
So what was growing up there like?
I sometimes I still go like, man, I wish I could just go back to the past and relive those moments, and really take it in. Because then there was peace. My world was peaceful. Though I didn't have anything other than just existing. and just. But then, you know, so you don't go appreciate them.
Yeah.
You won't appreciate those things. You know, the freedom. You know,
Yeah.
because right now, you know, I'm who I am, and I lost everything. I can't eat my amala in that, you know, sport without getting harassed sometimes, you know. So sometimes I want to go back there, but then again, I love it here. It's beautiful.
Of course it is. Say your shirts to shine. Of course it's beautiful.
And then growing up, you know, my 7 kids, you know,
What number were you?
I'm the third.
Of 7.
7, yeah.
So you are the middle child.
Me do. And my brother Godwin and the eldest one, we lost him. We had this bond, right? Because there was one time he was telling me that then he wanted to travel out. He was like, man, when I travel, don't worry, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, you know. So he sold me a dream, and that was the first time someone that I loved was selling me a dream. And I took it in, you know. And he went, you know, the guy hustle, and I was waiting, and I decided to do the same thing that he did. I was like, you know what, I'm going to go hustle and, you know, make something out of it. Because then the only thing I had, you know, my dad is struggle now. Things good before, things got bad, you know, from 2 cars to 1 car, from 1 car to no car.
Was that during SAP,
The
Structural Adjustment Program?
And then the next thing, everything got bad, like really bad, to the point where, you know, I still remember the days. You know, Aswani Market used to be every Tuesday. My mom used to be one of those women that sell fabrics there.
Okay.
So she buys it from the factory, and we have to stitch each, because they're not, what she buys are those ones that they left to, the ones that they can't use.
Yeah,
because
just like strips of
those, the main core materials. And they get all those ones and they sew them together. So like 1.5 yards, you sew it to half yard, and until you make 6 yards. So it's it's sold to the people that can't afford the straight ones, the fabrics. So I used to follow her back then. Every Tuesday morning by 4 a.m. we don't move. You know, she liked
to Aswani
Market. So we used to. She liked me being around because I used to bring her good luck. We finish early when I'm around. Because,
wow.
Yeah, people used to buy stuff from her
because of you.
Yeah, they'll just come and they'll just see my face, my big eyes. You know, they're good. I mean, so you see those days?
Yeah.
Since just day, you know.
What did your dad do?
My dad was a contractor.
Okay.
Yeah, I still drive past some of the things he built. And I go like, my dad built that. You know, there's this tankers that if you drive past, I don't know, because of traffic jams, you won't be able to go through that route anymore. Warehouse Road in Apapa. This Niger Biscuit, the people that make those tankers, he did that. He was the one that built my secondary school, the annex.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, my dad did that. You know,
interesting.
Great guy, yeah.
You know, these days a lot of us don't tend to have more than 2-3 kids.
Yeah.
Because times are hard. So when someone hears 7 kids,
yeah, my dad was.
They're wondering how was growing up like, you know, with regards to did you feel like a regular family? Did you feel financially maybe not as happy as you looking back now?
No,
how did it feel at the time?
Because at the time I didn't know what I was missing.
Yeah. You didn't know better.
I didn't know, I just this is the life I know. You know, my dad, one thing my dad did, which is one of the things I picked from him, he made sure there was always food in the house. You know, no matter how bad things get, you know, there's always, you must eat. You know, 3 square meal, steady, you know. Those are the things that, because we lived in the Face Me, I Face You building, you know, 20 Fakande Street. And I remember that one. Then we moved to number 32 Cardoso Street. Then it was better. Things started picking up, you know.
20 Fakande.
Yeah, I remember it. I just remember I say 20 Fakande Street, town, and it was a 1-room apartment, 1 room where, you know, where they shared bathroom and toilet. All those kind of things got bad for him, you know. Those were the things that made me. I'm like, man, bright, man, need to do something.
Yeah,
you know, get things going. So,
at what point did you realize that things were difficult? At what point in your life did you start realizing, yeah, this is a
It
little...
was when my mom, because before my mom started doing their Swanee market, because before we went to Creek Town, she wasn't doing all those stuff.
Yeah.
You know? So it was when
she had to start
doing it. I was like, before she even started, I think what happened first, those kiosks that people have in front of their houses that you sell gari, beans.
Yeah.
She started doing that. I was like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
You understand? Because back then, we had a driver that used to take us to school.
Yeah.
You understand? We went to primary school. So from a driver, brother Sonny. So, yeah, that was him, right? Yeah, I mean, I hope I'm not getting his name wrong. Anyway, so from having a driver, and then the next thing, a taxi started taking us to school. Then next thing, we had to start taking a bus. So I started realizing, because as a kid, you won't notice all these things.
Yeah.
Then I saw my mom, selling this stuff, and we couldn't help her. It was one time, like last week, I was trying to wrap, I can't remember what I put in a nylon bag, and I was trying to wrap, and I did it so swift that I'm like, damn, how did you? And I remember that, oh, Bryce, you still the wrap Gary, they did this.
Oh my God.
You put
I remember.
Come roll and how many don't roll 10? I think it's so good. I was like, why do you know this thing? Sometimes you hustle so hard, you forget the past because this is all you're open to right now. So yeah, it was fun, and I remember my dad had this turntable. My brother was a DJ. My eldest brother was a DJ at the time. So we had, those plates.
Yeah.
And I used to play, and I can remember now, like I can remember clearly seeing myself listening to music like every time. There was one Christmas, they said they were going to visit our relatives. I didn't go with them. I was alone at home listening to music from Brother Johnson to, there's some names I can't even remember. Weird music. I was like, I wasn't even listening to Nigerian songs. I was listening to those. I remember there's one.
So was that stuff that your dad bought, the kind of music he'd listen to, or
he bought the kind of music he listens to, and at the same time he bought, my brother brings the other ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the ones that my brother used to bring are the ones that I listen to the more.
Yeah.
So we had the Oriental Brothers and the Oliver the Coke. So when I would listen to those ones, I'm like, man, what if I can blend this rhythm with this hip hop sound?
Yeah.
So that was all. I was just trying to be creative, all that, all the while. Yeah.
Was this like in secondary school?
Yeah, this was like secondary school, like JSS.
What secondary school did you go to?
United Christian Secondary School.
Okay.
Yeah, United Christian Secondary School in Apapa. Like the funny thing is, I went to an average school, but in a great environment. Does that count?
Of course.
Yeah, good. That'd be a Jebo by
association.
By association.
By area.
By geographical location.
So you're in secondary school, you started discovering your love for music.
Yeah, and that was when it all started, man,
Yeah.
I started listening to, back then, unlike now that a song will come outside, a song will be released in America and you can hear it immediately, like the same day, no matter, whatever. Then you have to wait. Wait a while.
Distribution
and all that.
The radio will make you hear it over before you know.
Okay,
let me go and buy it.
And I used to get those tapes. One of my relatives that lived with us, brother Ogbonna, he worked with they make cassette tapes locally, I can't remember now. So he brings those cassette tapes,
like empty ones.
So I'll take it and listen to radio. And
so you did that pause.
Yeah, you did that thing. I see.
Yeah.
I thought I was the only one. Damn.
I did that.
I used to do this and wait. I would be listening, waiting for them. And those guys, they used to play advert and spoil the whole mix. I'm like, man, I used to hate those presenters. Would you shut up? Can you imagine? And now, my mom would just be looking at me, say, "This boy don't craze." You know. So that was when I knew that I was really into it. You know.
But it could have also been just a love for it, not necessarily a love for being an artist. When did you think you started feeling like you wanted to do it?
When I heard Wu-Tang for the first time,
Okay.
the Wu-Tang Clan, and I was like, damn, this is beautiful. And I started listening to them. I started listening to, you know, then I had heard of Curtis Blow, but those were like easy rap music. But when I heard Wu-Tang for the first time, I was like, man, this is the kind of stuff I like.
You're still in secondary school, of
I
course.
was in secondary school back then.
So you started performing at social nights. So.
Yeah, it was late. I was a very shy kid.
Oh,
so
really?
I didn't start.
You're shy?
You never know till now. You never still know
Interesting.
why I wear glasses? They shame for you. I'm shy. But actually, I used to be very. So when my son is shy right now, so I understand. I understand what's
happening.
So yeah, so it took a while. I think I was in SS3 before
You ever performed?
I performed for the first time, and then I did that in church, Assemblies of God Church, where I used to drum. And I was just trying it. I was like, people like this stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And these are things that I'll be doing for with my friends. We used to, do the heckling thing every evening amongst ourselves. Pastime. Then it evolved to rapping, the beatboxing and all that, and making music, and it just evolved. And we formed a group called the Psychopaths.
Mm-hmm.
How
many were you?
It was 7.
How did you plan to share this money?
The first money they paid us was it 2,000 naira?
What? And you just shared how much?
The money, food finished. The money. We went to Ife to perform. The artist that was booked didn't show up.
Yeah, you guys 7.
we were influenced by the Wu-Tang. They were like, let's form a crew.
A clan.
A whole clan. Psychopaths. We just, and I know the funny thing, we now broke up, sir, before even we released a single. As in, we were so,
Where are they now?
Kenneth Tutu. Kenneth, he still works. He works with an airline. He's doing pretty well. Emeka Moka is doing good too. Dominic Umeri is in Austria right now.
Are you the only one in entertainment?
Technically, yes.
Oh,
but
wow.
Dominic too he still raps, but he's out there in Austria doing his thing.
Okay.
My brother is into art, but he still raps as well. Tutu still raps, but he's not into it anymore. Like, he's done. Emeka Moka still writes. Like, he's pretty good. He's very good. Mike Aigbe, Mike joined us. He's funny enough. Some stuff I got, like he's into what do you call it? Estates.
Real estate.
Real estate. Yeah.
You want a refill?
Yeah, I want a refill. It's nice. I like the way they forget things. I'll forget Nigeria problem one of these days.
You can refill anytime you want. So, this the Psychopaths, was that in Uniben already? You were still in Lagos?
We were still in Kirikiri town. This whole thing, hold on. Man, look at that part. Now. This whole thing started in Kirikiri town and ended in Kirikiri town.
Oh, that was a very short-lived
psychopathic era. So we moved from there, and myself and my brother went to Uniben. So it was just me and him, and we needed to form a group. Then Psychopaths, we hadn't broken up then. We were still together. Then my brother was like, we can't be doing Psychopaths in Uniben. So we formed Odds, right? And we did that.
How many were you then?
Just me and him.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just me and him.
Were you very popular in Uniben?
as a musician, we were upcoming.
Okay.
We joined a
Among
group,
students?
Among students, yeah, we were doing pretty good. We joined a group called PSAC, performing. I can't remember now. Whatever. So we joined the group. I joined it before my brother joined, and I was like, I disconnected from them, and I was like, man, let's do our own thing. And we started doing our own thing, and eventually comedy came in, and it was in Uniben that comedy just took over.
Yeah.
But we started making music even before we went to Uniben. Like we had, then I used to go to Jimmy Jat's studio back then, Balinde, to beg him to give me, because we didn't have access to instrumentals. So we could only get instrumentals from DJs. So I'll take my cassette tape there, like, bro, man, I have a show and I need some beats. So he'll, tell his boy then to go give us, go through
something over there
and record. Then there's a guy called KLM Studio. KLM Studio was in Wilma, was in Amodofia, on Krikri Road, Wilma bus stop. So I can't remember. Man, everything is so vague. And I remember, because you're the one that you're just unlocking all these things. I've never talked about this thing since forever. So KLM Studio, that was one of the studios we used to go to as well, to record instrumentals that we used to perform.
Yeah.
Then we tried to make our own beats. Then I had to start learning how to play the keyboard so I could make my own beat. And I tried. But, yeah.
So all this while, you're doing music, you're pursuing music with your brother. You never still thought comedy was a thing for you?
Nah.
It wasn't even in your horizon? You never thought you were funny? Were you ever called funny, even like in secondary school?
No.
You never thought you were funny?
Yeah, until like, there was one time, I think it was in GSS 3. That was the first time. No. It was in GSS 1. Heckling started. Some guys were heckling and they were killing this guy, right? And I jumped in and defended him. So I took over the heckling battle and I destroyed that guy. Because come on, I'm a cricket town boy. I jiggle about, I will yab your life. Do you get? So I killed the guy, and everyone was like, man, that guy is good, And from then on, people used to call me, "You're bright, man. You need to come help me yab this guy. You gotta look for my trouble." Understand? So,
That's funny.
As in students, were so useless. So people will have a verbal fight, and they will come and pay me 5 naira to come and fight for them. So I'll go to, you see me, I walk into the class, and everybody's like, "Yeah, bright, don't come." And I say, who they yab you? To point the guy. I just had to yab the guy. Set the guy to pieces. And Kai.
But it was just for fun.
It was just for fun. But they would just give me 5. I didn't know it was. I didn't see all those things as payment because I was a kid. So the guy, rich kids now, like, okay, take, because the school was more or less like, when rich people know things aren't bad for them. If things aren't bad for you, so you carry your picking go to school. So now people don't fail for life. So my brother. Anyway,
there was a drink in my mouth, so I could not laugh out.
See, man, things don't bad for us in this life. Babe, you say if you pay, we pay for Corona again. Send them go. That's good. So yeah, it was fun back then. That was when I was doing. I didn't even know.
Yeah, you were going. Anything was going anywhere
because we were not exposed to anything. The first time I saw a TV showing in the morning was when I was going to school. I think it was JSS 2 or so, and I saw some guys watching the satellite, and I saw TV they own by this time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? I was like, wow.
Now 4 o'clock before now.
At 4 o'clock, so I saw a TV showing, and not like it was a movie, like So we stood there. I almost went to school late. So I was like, wow. Then I saw this big satellite dish right in front, because Papa now rich people, so I don't know anything. So heckling for me was just
Yeah.
the thing that I do.
So when you said you went on stage in Uniben for the first time, you said that someone was on stage.
Yeah, but that wasn't the first time.
Okay, what was the first time
The
you went
first
on
time
stage?
I went on stage
To do comedy
to
or
do comedy. It wasn't intentional. We were performing as a rap group.
In Uniben still?
Uniben, yeah.
Okay.
And they were yabbing us, right? Was that the first time? No, that wasn't the first time. No, I remember. I were just that guy that would make people laugh in groups. And some guys were like, man, you need to do this thing. Or if you climb stage, if you do this thing. Then I saw Gandoki. I heard about Gandoki. I heard about I Could Die. And I was like, these guys are bright if you do this thing. But it wasn't a thing for me.
Yeah.
But mine, I used to do it, within like 10, 15 people max. When I see people gathered and it's a boring gathering, I just slide in and start, And that was how I used to do in school. So when the heckling thing started, when we have breaks, I get on, and start mimicking the teachers and making people laugh. So that was when I know, that's when I started facing the audience. So my classmates were like my first audience, and they were laughing all the time. So that's how the fame started from secondary school.
Yeah.
But it was just famous, boy in the yard. This guy, bro.
So what made you decide to switch off rapping and switch on the comedy?
I think it's better if I tell you the day.
There was a day.
I can't remember when I did my first stand-up comedy performance, because a lot happened. So, but the first day I decided we were performing as a rap group and we're getting booed, and I got so upset.
Still in Uniben?
Still in Uniben, I was so angry.
The students are very harsh.
Those guys are wicked. They came at us, and I was like, what? And I'm in secondary school, I'm the king of heckling. So you people are small fry for me now. So I told my brother and the other guy, like, don't know what, guys, I'm gonna wait. So we walked off stage, and they walked off stage, and I came back, and I told the DJ to stop the music. And I was like, who they talk? Then Yabi now started. I dealt with those people. So it got to the point where it was, first of all, it was very rowdy. So it was, they were hitting me, I was coming at them. And the next thing, I would go at one person and destroy the person, because I wasn't paying attention at anybody else. Go to the next person, destroy this person, and people started listening. And I was just going, and the next thing, the hall became quiet. And I was just going, and they started laughing. And mine, because it was spot, like right on the spot.
Yeah.
When I see whatever I see on your head or your face, whatever,
You just use it as material.
I just use them as material. So I was, then I had, man, those days, sweet shower. I was just, now things, you have to be very careful.
Then you could say anything.
Anything.
I guess.
Yeah. So I had so much fun. And when I was done, some guy walked up to me, and the guy was like, man, you get basketball too. And
Who's this guy?
I don't know.
Wow.
The guy just said, man, boy, you get basketball, just walk up past. And I was
I wonder if that guy knows.
I'm hoping I'm hoping he's alive to see this. Thank you. So when he said that, and I told my guy, I said, man, if I go do comedy, my name's gonna be basketball. I told Bayo Adekeye. Bayo Adekeye became my manager, and he's still we still work together. So yeah, that's when I decided that I was gonna. Then Eno Fugara told me as well that, bro, leave this rap thing, leave him. Rap.
How did your brother feel? Because you were in a group with him.
Yeah, he felt bad, but he didn't tell me. Godwin is that kind of guy that he doesn't he'll let me do my thing. He supports me. So my decision wasn't going to favor him, but he wanted me to win. So he supported me, and come think of it, I can't feel bad.
I mean, you broke up a whole. You did the P square
man.
before P square.
But this one, he my brother now. And we worked together as well. Like, he's actually a partner in my company. Everything, we did it together.
Yeah. I asked whether you were very popular in Uniben because one of the scariest moments of my entire life happened in 2007. I don't know if you can remember. We were on this tour for a telecoms company, a campus tour. I remember.
Yeah, I remember.
And one of the stopovers was Uniben.
Yeah.
And then we're done with the event and we're trying to leave the campus.
Yeah.
And the students sort of
Stopped us.
And they were shaking the bus.
Yeah.
We almost tipped over.
Yeah.
And it was like, Bright, calm down. When last you come back? I said, wait, up.
I know, they were upset.
It was very intense. It was almost like they had a score to settle or they wanted you to come and pay homage for.
Yeah, it was more of the homage thing.
Yeah.
Then I
we almost said, Bright, go beat them and make when they go
you guys will not leave me. Never.
It was a very scary day. Like the boss was literally.
So what happened was,
yeah.
yes, I didn't answer your question. Yes, I was quite popular in school. I was more or less like the only comedian at that time that was kicking it, and I left. And the way I left, I just moved so swiftly. People didn't see it happen.
Yeah.
And
Did you finish from Uniben?
Yes.
Okay.
And the next thing, they started seeing me on TV.
Yeah.
But I represented Uniben till date, So we went all the way. Like, the next thing, I was coming to Uniben as an artist.
You left as Bright and came back
Yeah,
as
I
Basket
came back
Mouth.
as Basket Mouth. Like, you crazy?
Wait.
Hey, come here, you the man, come here.
What role did one Night of 1,000 Laughs play in your jump?
Yeah, it was a big one for me because what happened was, let me tell you the story. Gandoki came back to Uniben wearing the Night of 1,000 Laughs T-shirt.
While you were still in Uniben?
While I was in Uniben. He came to visit someone here. And I saw the T-shirt and I was like, Kai, this guy don't do this show. Because I'd heard about the show, but bro, man, there was nothing. You just hear about things, but you don't know how to go about it.
Yeah.
There's no phones, nothing. So it was a big thing. And I was like, Bryce, you need to work your way up to the point where they will come for you, And I tried and I worked my way up. Then Alibaba saw me and picked me up and was like, look, when you're done, come to Lagos, come and work with me. So I went to Ali and I started working with Ali. And every time that Ali gave me an opportunity to hold the mic, I killed it. Like, because I was hungry.
Yeah.
Not like I'm not hungry anymore, but the hunger was different. Get on stage and eat that shit.
Go on, it's fine.
And it got to the point where I don't forget what I talk self now. So
You're talking about Ali?
no. Where the direction?
Okay, where you were headed, but you're talking about Alibaba.
This talk don't go sweet, can't go pass. Can't go pass.
Now, Night of 1,000 Laughs.
Yeah.
I ask you.
Yeah. That's where I'm going to. That's not going to time. So what happened was, and now the person I needed his attention was Ali's attention, so I got it. So he said, "Come to Lagos." I was like, "Fine." Now I have access.
Yeah.
So every time he gave me the opportunity to get on stage, I used to kill it. Not only because I wanted to kill it, I wanted to kill it to the point where he would say, "You know what, Bright, come, let me go and introduce you to Upper Williams." You understand? Because me, I'm very tactical with the way I do my thing. Like, I won't go and tell you that I can't come to you and go, hey, bros, I want to earn it. So I earned it, and one day he took me, he said, let's talk by Upper's office. And we got to Upper's office, and Upper came out, and he was like, this guy is an animal. He's a crazy boy. You should put him on the show. And Upper looked at me and looked at Alibaba and was like, in the crease. Alibaba said, in the crease.
That's all he needs.
I remember that conversation. Then Yinka Akinlawan was there. Osam was there as well. So Osam was the one that gave me a lift when I was done. So, because Ali left me there. And Oprah gave me the opportunity and said, you need to come for the audition. And I went for the audition. There, I saw Teji Babyface, I Go Die and I Go Save. They all came for the audition. And that was one of the moments in my entire life that I was like, Bright, you were born to do this. Like, this is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So what happened was, I was alone. You know, even the shirt where I wear, I borrow him. You know, etc. The musician.
Yes.
He was the one that I borrowed his shirt because I didn't have a good shirt, a good looking shirt to wear. So I was like, dude, man, I beg, this is your shirt. I need them on. I think it was a Thursday, Jazzville in Yaba.
Yeah.
So took the shirt. I think I borrowed his shirt and his jeans actually. The only thing that was mine was my shoes.
And your pints.
And my pint. So, and I went on. I sat at the back. I was nervous, man. The MC was Babadi, Sound Sultan's elder brother. You know, all the Basoj, everybody, they were all in the room. And they called me up on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, this new guy from Uniben, blah, blah, blah. Bright, basket mouth. And I came on stage. I just started my joke. Like, I had not, it was just 30 seconds in, and they stopped me. And they were like, you're done, you're fine, you perform.
Really?
I swear. I think it was 30, it wasn't up to a minute. I can't remember, but it wasn't up to 30 seconds.
Like mid-performance.
Like mid-performance, they were like, the crowd, the explosion was, and Opa Williams came on stage and he was like, yeah, go sit down. This is what
What was the crowd? They were not finding you funny?
No, they loved it. They were screaming.
So why
he didn't want to waste it.
Oh, I was okay now.
Yeah, he was like, stop.
It's too soon.
It's too soon. Yeah, leave, go. You're performing. Go and sit down. And
okay, I get that now.
Yeah. So I didn't narrate the story well.
Yeah, but go on.
So he stopped me and he was like, So when he called on stage, I was scared. But when I figured out what was going on, I was like, wow. And I went to sit down and everyone was coming up to me, to where I was sitting. I was like, dude, man, you're good. Man, it was the first line. I can't remember the joke. I remember the joke, but I can't remember the flow. But I remember I was like, the first thing I said, I was like, what if they ban Pidgin English for 9 years? I said, no, I said, Lagos too dey noisy. Like Lagos too get noise. And I went into the joke. What if they ban? So it was the way I did it.
Yeah.
The way I do my materials back then. So the next thing I was pow, 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 and the explosion came in, the laughter, because the room was small. So the roar, I almost cried.
How do you get to that point where you know how to sort of, drop a joke and lay your lines and, hit the punchline at the right time? For someone who had no interest in comedy, didn't even ever think you were going to be a comedian, almost until you were even an adult, before that came into play. So what got you to the point where you became aware of how to be a comedian? Because one thing is being funny, but being a comedian on stage is a whole other thing.
So,
and with how late you started, it makes me wonder, like, how did you?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
So what happened was, I was teasing my friends and telling them stories, funny stories. And my elder brother's friend, Alaji, saw me and he called me. I was like, have you seen Eddie Murphy's Delirious? And I was like, no. Then Eddie Murphy to me was an actor. I didn't know he was a comedian because only 48 hours or something.
Coming to America.
Yeah, no, I don't think I'd seen Coming to America, Save. I don't think I'd seen it. I think it was 48 hours. And one of those old ones that he did, I think, it was Coming to America. I'd seen Coming to America then. So I was like, he's a comedian. I said, yes, come to the house, I'll give you a tape. So they gave me a VHS tape, brought it back home and watched it, and I was blown away. I watched him. I was looking at his timing, the way he was delivering the material. I studied him. I was supposed to return the tape the next day. I watched that tape like 2 weeks. I begged him. I said, please.
Yeah.
I was watching it. I was trying to understand how he did it, because it was all about storytelling. And I know I tell good stories. I know how to tell stories. And I'm like, okay, because it's all about your timing. You know, comedy is about timing. Apart from the skills, apart from your punchlines. If you don't drop the punchlines at the exact right time, you lose the joke. Do you understand? So I now studied that. Then afterward, they took the tape back, and I was left with the memory of what I had watched.
So basically, you're sort of intentional with sort of tailoring your
and that's why
early years.
Yeah, so that, I think he influenced me.
Yeah.
And because of, if you watch that performance, he was telling the story, and that's why if you notice till date, when I do my so when I drop my materials, it's more or less like stories. You won't even know when I've moved to the next material. I think I was influenced by him a lot.
Yeah.
So when it comes to how I perfected it, bro, I won't lie to you, I do not know. But it was all I was doing. I had nothing else. So when I could get tapes from other comedians, I would buy it and just watch them and look at how they do it, you know, their skills. Because, bro, man, I had, apart from Alibaba, who is like way older than I am, you know, I had nobody that influenced me, you know?
Yeah.
So one of the things that helped me was hip-hop music, was because hip-hop music is poetry. Rap music is poetry, rather. So in terms of poetry, apart from the fact that you're sending a message, it has to make sense. It deals with the ciphers, the rhymes, and the way you lay it out. So I think I took a little bit of poetry and poured it into my style of delivery.
Okay.
You understand? Which is the reason why when I like the two things involved, or when I do bright sides and all that, I start from here and I take it down, because like rap music, when a rapper is dropping, you don't know where the next line is going to and all that. So I think those things influenced music actually influenced my comedy. Yeah. To be honest, if I want to be very honest.
I hear a lot of Alibaba whenever I talk to comedians.
Yeah, he did a great job, man.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
How is that?
He wasn't scared. He was not scared
to put you up.
Yeah, he wasn't scared. He's not scared to put anybody up, and
Yeah.
that thing, was one of the things that made me respect him. You understand? And I don't like mentioning names, but I'd met comedians before him. No. I met comedians. Yeah. I think I met one or two comedians before him, and I met like a lot of comedians after him, and none of them were like him. Very few. Bakassi. Yeah. Bakassi embraced me. You know. Few of them didn't. Julius Ago embraced me too, you know. But most of them did not. Basoj did well. But the one person that embraced me without anything, Alibaba Bakassi. And that's one of the reasons why you find out that Bakassi is still around me till date. I owe him forever. And I'll tell you why. After Night of 1,000 Laughs, I didn't have 1 kobo on me. I couldn't go back home. They were not paying us after the performance. So this is the guy that killed the show. I got a standing ovation 2 times that day. Like, that was the best moment of my entire life. Even till date, I still remember that night. Like, dude, I didn't have what to wear, so I had to beg them to give me their T-shirt. So I was wearing a Night of 1,000 Laughs T-shirt, because apart from the fact that I didn't have what to wear, I needed the T-shirt too. Because Gandoki had a T-shirt.
So you thought it was important?
That was proof
that you had to perform there.
You know, there was no blogger, nothing. Like, your mouth, you used to say I perform, you know. So, but then, to be honest, I didn't have what to wear. So I told Yinka King, I was like, "Mona, give me a T-shirt now, so I'll have some." Because 2 shows, I can't wear this and wear this. I was done with the performance, no money. I had asked some comedians for transport. I think it was like 30 naira or so, 50 naira. And they were like, no money. The way they even said it, like, so dismissive. So it was night, it was getting dark. So I saw okay, Bakassi, and I begged him. I was like, dude, I beg, I don't get transport to go back. If you help me. He didn't have cash, but he was the only person that said, wait, make I help. I see if I could get money from somebody. So he tried. He asked. If you saw him making an effort, but he didn't still pull, the funds together. I was like, man, I try, I no fit. Me, I no get, I not empty. Because I actually saw him, sorting people out and all that. So I was like, okay. So I waited until it was dark, so nobody would see me walk out of National Theatre. So I waited till about like 10 p.m. Then I walked back home.
You walked?
Yeah. Yeah. I do it. I used to do it a lot, So I in Unibed now with the walk out regularly. So for me now, like a small thing. That was why it was easy for me to blend into Lagos with all the struggles, with all the barriers. For me then, I was like, back then, an obstacle was my way. Like if I see obstacle, I was like, okay, which means there's something here. This is where I need to come to. So I don't have to break it. No, I'm not that powerful. I go around it. So I just find my way, but I must break you.
When did you feel like you had become, okay, this is basket mouth now? When did you have that moment where you realized, was it money paid? Was it an event? Was it a deal signed? What was there a moment when you realized, feel like say it don't happen, no?
Okay. Damn. Okay. It was 3 times. The first one was when I did my first comedy show. And it was 2 shows, and it was sold out. Both shows. And I was like, wow. Like, man, damn. They love you. And they waited. I was the last performer, right?
And they stayed till you came out.
They came out. They stayed till the end. Because back then, when the comedian pulls together a show, as at the time, because he's supposed to perform last, right? But as at the time that he's performing, everyone's tired. And most times, halfway, say, I won't Tiana. Let's go back. And sometimes halfway into that comedian's performance, half the crowd they're leaving.
He's left already.
So I'm like, right, you need to keep these guys glued to their seat till the end. So my lineup had Basoj, TA, everyone, Yibokoko. They came to support me. And I came on stage, and I think I did about like 45 minutes. And they stayed, and at the end of the performance, everyone stood up and gave me a standing ovation. And I was like, wow.
Now me be this.
You be this. And then the next one was when I did Ghana, when I did the two things involved set.
Okay.
So what happened then was I went there as an upcoming comedian, right? So they put me up first, and I performed, and I ended the show. I'm not bragging or anything, but I as at the time I performed, the show was over. I didn't do it intentionally, but I killed it.
Yeah.
Then the next time they called me, I was the headliner.
Oh wow.
So the person that was in that presidential suite.
Chai.
I don't want to mention names.
Who was that?
No, not it.
A Niger guy. Who was it?
It's
a long time ago. So
it's a long time. So you can. Now the thing is, so what happened was, damn, this story will go the wrong way. Now Ebuka won't put me for trouble. But there's nothing to it, Sha.
Exactly, it's a long time ago.
It's a long time ago. So what happened was, when I went there, okay, I'm gonna say the story. And since we did, I'm talking story the way. Know that I like to decode. So this was what happened. they called me and said, Basket, you need to come perform in Ghana. You need to come perform in Ghana. I was like, okay. And I asked them, who's on the lineup? And they said, Benga Denka, a few people. And I was like, who's the headliner? And they said, Benga Denka. And I'm like, Benga is the headliner. They're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. All right, no problem. So I asked for my fee, and they wouldn't pay me
What you asked for?
what I asked for. So I like, and I had an idea of how much, and they were paying the other comedians, and I was fresh. So as at that point in time in Nigeria, I did try, but for Ghana, they never see anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, Bright, even if they want to pay you nothing. Go and introduce yourself to them.
Yeah.
Because me, I'm more or less, then, if you remember, it wasn't the money. I like to say hello, my name is Bright, then later. So I was like, Bright, take it. Can't remember how much it was, but I think $1,500 or $1,000. Can't remember. I just take the money. I said, like, let's go. So I went there. They treated me nice. Ghanaians are dope. So as we go to the show, my guy showed me respect and all those stuff,
He did laugh.
It was just a funny moment. Because then, I'm sorry, but then, say, that he crazed that time. so I was like, and I was very quiet. So they didn't know what was coming, right?
Yeah.
So when it was time, so I asked them, when am I performing? They brought the list. I was like, first, second. I said, yeah, you're performing right here. I was like, here? They said, yes. I was like, wow. So I was like, okay. So I went back and I was like, Bright, close the show. I've been wicked before, Shan.
Were you could make a day at the time?
My guy, that's the funny thing. It wasn't what I was doing. Wasn't even what I was doing was like, now me they do like this, that kind of thing. Like, okay, you know what? Just do it for the fun of it. Not like I would have done it any less anyway.
Yeah.
But because of the whole thing that was going on, I was like, you know what? Come out, like, do your thing. So I got on stage, and if you go back to that performance, if you watch it again, you realize that I wasn't even laughing. I went on. I was just
Like you needed to prove a point.
Not like prove a point. I needed to just say, you know what, guys,
I'm here.
this is who I am. Do you get? And I walked away. And the same thing I did was the same thing I did with Night of 1,000 Laughs. Now, let's go back to Night of 1,000 Laughs for a minute before I come back to Ghana. Night of 1,000 Laughs. Alibaba had told me that Opabilium was going to pay me 20,000 naira, which was going to be my biggest pay as at the time. So Opabilium now paid me 5,000. And I'm like,
5K.
5K. I'm like, okay, no problem. But then again, it wasn't the money for me. I needed to sell myself. I needed to sell the brand. But I didn't like the fact that after the effort, after everything that I did, after the suffer, because I came from Benin back to Lagos for that gig. I went back to Benin. So when he gave me the money, I said that, but Ross, at least say that 20,000 did they pay. He said, Alibaba na book you. I'm like, no, sir.
Just Upper William.
Yeah. I'm like, no, sir. And my bone now, I said, well, no problem, sir. Well, I was trying to see what's in there. Because me, I don't plan the money.
Yes.
I don't plan them. I don't say, okay, from this money, I'll give my mama this amount and take this one back to school. So when that happened, was it 5,000 or 10,000? I can't remember. I think it was 5,000. Yeah, it was 5K. So when he now came back to book me, I charged him 50,000. He didn't pay. When he came back to book me, I charged him 75,000. He didn't pay. When he came back to book me, I charged him 100,000. he then paid. And for every year, I was increasing it. And my mom be say, for me, as at that point in time, if you do me well, I will do you well. So he gave me an opportunity that I never, ever thought I would, come close to. But because of that first time, when you do me that thing for that money, he knows the thing pay me. I know if he's watching this thing, he go not see. Because I've not told her this thing before. I say, bro, that thing paid me. Oh. So because of that, and I said, this bros could pay me. He could pay me. So I was increasing my money to the point that
he had to pay it.
He was paying everything. Then one time, they were now doing a show, one of the Night with 1,000 Laughs episodes in Abuja. I called Yinka. How far? Who did your lineup? He told me. Abuja, I remember the first show, he told me. Where be the venue? He told me. He didn't know I was already heading to the airport. And I flew down there. I went. I did it for free. I got on stage, hosted the show, the first and the second show. And I said, bros, this is thank you for everything, for supporting me and everything. For me, man, I don't like saying, I don't know, I like it being crafted neatly,
Yeah.
So yeah, and I did that for him like 3 times or so. I was doing it and did it and And
I hear a lot of this comedian stories, and it looked like back in the day there was, this one big family where whatever you were doing, Night of 1,000 Laughs, for example, was one place where everybody sort of came back to hang out.
Yeah.
Virtually every comedian I know has an Alibaba story.
Mm-hmm.
So there was that. But now there's a lot more cliques, subdivisions. Sometimes it's a good thing because now there's Instagram quote-unquote comedians, there's stand-up comedians, there's actors. You have all of this.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think works better? Do you think there needed to be one big tent for comedians like it was back in the day? Or there needs to be?
The thing is, it seemed like it was just one big
family.
tent.
Yeah.
It was
never.
It was never.
There was all these wild stories about, AY discovered Bovi, basketball snatched Bovi from AY. Like it's some relationship story.
Shit,
so where did that come from?
I did not. Bovi no big girl. Me and Bovi was a cool relationship.
Yeah, a lot of us admired it.
The guy is busy. So I don't know why people would think, say, come on. Like...
It was never been an issue with Bovi.
No.
You're thinking?
I'm thinking, like, what if it don't happen? Nothing. Me and Bovi were blood, though. People don't know. Like, the way me and Bovi be.
Were you at his movie premiere?
Yeah.
Did you put it up?
Thank you so much.
I can't kill myself.
Kill the music.